The last time we did, she ran 21.88 seconds, which is a world-leading time in the 200. That was then, and this is now. The field that they gave her, to be real, nobody in that field had even a prayer of beating her. If you look at the starting list, nobody even had a PR for the most part that was even in the lower half of the 22s. So, when she showed up to race, all eyes were going to be on her, and really, it was going to be on her and the clock. So, the gun goes off, and Julien Alfred does Julien Alfred things. She runs away from everybody very early. By the time she's off the turn, that race was over. And the announcers said it themselves. The race is very well at hand. We're just focusing on the clock. And when the clock finally comes up, she runs 22.15 seconds, which is fast, but not quite as fast as what she'd already done. But then you have to consider, she was running into a minus headwind, negative 0.8 meters per second. Whether or not you care that much about the wind factors, all you have to understand is that if she were in better conditions, she probably would have broke 22 again. And we're talking about a race where, when you look at the results, nobody is even close to her. We're talking almost a second between her and the next finisher. The race was more or less a time trial. Now, granted, I expected that, but Julien Alfred is a big deal because she doesn't just run the 200. She's the Olympic gold medalist in the 100. And the real question is, what does this dominant performance, one that was almost a foregone conclusion, like as close to a lock as you're going to get in professional track, like what does it really mean? Because Julien Alfred is going to be measured by one thing this year. She's going to go to the World Championships, and generally speaking, the goal is for her to win the 100 and the 200 individually when she's there. She already won the Olympic gold in the 100 and got silver in the 200. But if you go back to the last World Championship, Julien Alfred was there. She didn't get a medal in the 100 or the 200, but she was there in the final. If I'm remembering correctly, she got fourth in the 200, which means she just barely missed out on a medal. Putting that in perspective to where we are now, because that woman and this woman are, I guess, slightly on different levels now. Everyone else in the world, named Gabby Thomas, Sha'Carri Richardson, and Shericka Jackson, are going to have to respond. How they respond remains to be seen, but let's have the real conversation about where Julien Alfred actually is compared to the rest of them. But if you're new here, I want to say thank you for even making it this far into the video. And I'm Coach Rob, and if you really want to know what's going on with the fastest athletes in the world, then you are in the right place. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comment section, because I try to read them all. Julien Alfred hasn't competed much. The only times we saw her do it, she ran indoors. Again, this is going entirely off of memory. She ran indoors at the New Balance, indoor Grand Prix. That was in Boston. She wins an indoor 300, and again, in a race that was never really that close. Runs one of the faster times we've seen in history, and there was a conversation to have about that. But then you move forward. She runs the 300 again in a Continental Tour event in Miramar. That one was against Shericka Jackson, where she wins it pretty convincingly. Granted, Shericka Jackson isn't in the best of form right now. That may change over the next few months, and I'm going to get to that in a moment. But the next time we saw her was at the Tom Jones Memorial, running in an Olympic development section. She ran a 200 there, and again, blew away the field. That was the moment that everybody else understood, because the 300, that's one thing. It's an unofficial event. But the 200, when you put 21.8 on the boards, people got to deal with it, because very few women in the world can actually go that fast. Like, ever. Much less do it, like, in a one-off race that really doesn't mean anything, or give it to you in a race that actually matters. Julien Alfred coming back weeks later. She's not racing a whole lot. The thing is, whenever she does, she is dominant. That is what needs to be compared to everybody else we're seeing who actually had the talent to beat her. Because Sha'Carri Richardson, she has now run a race in 2025. And that race didn't look good. Just saying. I mean, she might figure it out by the time we get to the Worlds, because she is the defending champion in the 100-meter dash. And she got Olympic silver in that same event, for the record. But still, she's going to have to figure it out, because she just got fourth, if I remember correctly, in a Continental Tour event where the field was really not all that competitive. She was not supposed to be anything less than first if we're just going off of talent. Again, that was then to where where she's gonna finish. Then you move over to Gabby Thomas, who's a much different situation. She's been actually in pretty good form. And what she's been doing in Grand Slam track is proving it. Because winning the 200 in the long sprints division wasn't all that big a deal. But then she put down a new PR in the 400, which shows us what type of form she's in. She wins the 200 again in Miramar, Miami, runs a fast, windy 100, and she'd run another 100 prior. Like, we know that Gabby Thomas is going to come correct. If you're comparing times, Julien Alfred is still the world leader. Just saying. And Gabby Thomas is running with very competitive fields. Julien Alfred, for the most part, especially what we just saw, that was not a very competitive field. She just decided to bring the heat anyway, because why not? She isn't racing all that much. And that brings us to Shericka Jackson, because we've seen her in a 200. And we've seen her run at the World Relays. And we're going to see her in Rabat run a 100. And hey, I'll be paying attention to see how that race goes. But fundamentally speaking, we really don't know what to expect from Shericka. We know what she's done in the past, and I'm going to continue to grade her on that scale. Because if she comes with that form, Julien Alfred's going to have to level it up even more if she wants to beat her. But that is actually a conversation. Because let's just assume that Shericka Jackson gets back into the form that we saw in 2023 and 2022, specifically talking about the 200. I'm not saying Julien Alfred is going to beat her, but I'm going to say those races will be a whole lot more entertaining than what they looked like in the past. Because if she's running like this now, and she's clearly training with her focus on the season and how it's going to end up, like how everything's going to line up by September, the quality of the races we're getting now, again, basically in time trial format, is making it clear that she doesn't just run 21s. Because, again, that's fast compared to just about everybody else in the world. She wants to run under 21.5. And that puts you in a very specific category. The type of women who normally run away from the rest of the world and it's never really that close. Shericka is the only woman who's ever done that who's in the game right now. And Gabby Thomas got close. Other than that, it's them. That's the list. Julien Alfred would now be joining them. So she does have a new level to go to. And these races do have to be put into context. But there's something to be said when you're a headliner and you show up to an event and you remind everybody why you actually are the headliner. I'm not throwing shade at other people. I'm just being honest. Because that is what Julien Alfred is doing. Every time you buy a ticket to watch Julien Alfred run, you are going to watch her show you why she is the best in the world. Her Olympic gold was not a fluke, even if some people didn't see it coming. Her dominance in college spoke to that. She went straight from dominating that level to going to the world stage and threatening to be the best. And now, she isn't just threatening anymore. She's trying to hold on to the throne that she already took by force. And the only way you're going to stop her is you had better figure out how to go incredibly fast. I'm talking historically fast, because that's what Julien Alfred is getting prepared to do in September. In the sport of track and field, race day is honestly the easy part, because all of the real work gets put in when nobody is watching. When you wear every day is training day gear, you can let the whole world know that your success in competition is not an accident. Order yours at scarecruiting.com/shop or use the link in the description below, and it always comes with free shipping. It's a huge support to me and this channel, so I can continue to make you more content like this. And remember, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.